Hi there, welcome. We're so happy that you're here to join us today with the wonderful Microsoft team. Microsoft is a strong supporter of the WESIS organization, a strategic partner now for 2 years, and we're super thrilled that we have Kate and Elda here with us today to be presenting on hunting for a career in cybersecurity, lessons from the Microsoft team. My name is Lynn Dome, Women in Cybersecurity Executive Director. We often go out by our acronym WICYS, WESIS, and we pronounce it WESIS as in we sisters, because that's exactly what we are. We are a cyber sisterhood. And we're a 501c3 member-based nonprofit. We have over 5,100 members and have representation in over 70 countries. There are 43 professional affiliates, which are mini WESIS organizations. And they're in Australia, Africa, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the UK, and all throughout the United States. In addition to that, we also have over 150 student chapters in Canada, Costa Rica, India, Nigeria, and throughout the United States as well. So our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity, and we do so by creating opportunities. We have our online member forum where all our members can network and connect. Within the member forum, we have special interest groups such as military spouses in cybersecurity, cybersecurity law, data privacy, Latinas in cybersecurity. You name it, we have a special interest group in there for you, or you can launch your own. We also have skill development training programs brought to us by Google, Bloomberg, Facebook, Target, AWS, Science Institute, and so many more. We have newsletters and webinar series, scholarships, grants, and awards, not only for our conference, which is March 17th through the 19th of next year, 2022, in Cleveland, Ohio, but also we offer scholarships for other conferences as well. Our Cyber Talent Emergency Fund is there for students within their last 4 semesters of completing their college education. If they have a medical emergency or can't afford their rent or their car breaks down, they could apply and receive up to $599 within 48 hours of receiving their application. We have speaking and media opportunities for our members to be what others can see, and that's the cybersecurity professionals they are. Our Job Board Plus Plus is a wonderful place where our strategic partners, such as Microsoft, post their jobs in, and they also recruit from year-round. So all our members can update their profile, upload their resumes, and get recruited from. We have apprenticeships, market research, military and veterans all have assistance program. We have a veterans apprenticeship program, a mentor-mentee program, speakers bureau, and so much more. So I encourage you to visit us at wesis.org. And we owe all that special thanks to our strategic partners, AWS, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon Software Engineering Institute, Cisco, Facebook, Google, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, which brings us our webinar here today, Optum, SentinelOne, AbbVie, JP Morgan Chase & Company, LinkedIn, Navy Federal Credit Union, Nike, Wayfair, Workday, Accenture, American Airlines, Arctic Wolf, Champlain College, Dell Technologies, InvestNet, Flatiron, Fortinet, Haystack Solutions, Here Technologies, The Home Depot, IBM, Indiana University, Motorola Solutions, Oak Ridge National Lab, Palo Alto Networks, PayPal, Salesforce, Science Institute, Schlumberger, SmoothStack, SpearTip, Starbucks, Target, University of California, San Diego, and Verizon. Ooh, it is a mouthful, and we do have a growing list of strategic partners indeed. So we're super thrilled to have Elda and Kate here to be able to present on this webinar. And this is your time. We have these professionals on the call with us today, and they're going to be taking questions live. So please put your questions in the chat feature at the bottom of your screen and engage with our presenters as much as you can. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our WESIS newsletter. And you can find us all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it, we're out there. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and hand it on over to the Microsoft team. And so Elda, I'll have you take it from here.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We're so excited to be with all of you today. And while Kate is still trying and set up our presentation, I'll start with an introduction first, and we can just move on from the slides, Kate. I'm Elda Tan Seng. I'm one of the directors of Microsoft Detection and Response team, and I have to here with you today also Kate Livingston, one of the forensic experts in DART. We call ourselves Microsoft's DART team because of detection and response. And we are the incident response team here for external customers for Microsoft. Next slide, please, Kate. Awesome. We'll start with introductions. I've been in the industry for 17 years now. 14 years of that is actually in Microsoft. So been in Microsoft for 14 years now. I joined DART team, the specific team incident response team, around almost 3 years ago, January 2019. I manage a group of incident responders, developers, and other cyber experts in our team. And I do a lot of focus recently on a lot of research, IP development, tool development, and also training for our team. Prior to that, I also work in Microsoft Defender team. My background is reverse engineering, so that's where I started my career, and then eventually transitioned to being manager, leading the group of reverse engineer back then, and now I'm leading a group of incident responders in Microsoft. I graduated from Manila, Philippines, De La Salle University. I guess I have more like of like the traditional background from cyber. I started with computer science. I majored in computer engineering, and that's where I began my journey. Next slide, please. So to get you more into the details and how it all happened, as I said, right, like I took up computer science. I always like math, so I said, yeah, why not? It was long time ago. So I've started with learning development, programming, software development. But I majored in computer engineering. I felt like that my passion is towards the other side, microcontrollers, robotics. So a lot of our work during the major was really into assembly language programming. You know, how would I control this robot? How will I program the microcontroller so it would work with ones and zeros? So very assembly language programming. And then after graduation, I was looking for a job in Manila that's more related to that. But there's really not that much opportunity in Manila back then for this type of background and degree. Luckily, there was a security company that I found that is actually looking for a reverse engineer, security reverse engineering trainee. And the only requirement that they were looking for, you must know assembly language programming, x86. Sure, I know that. And I never thought of security when I was still studying. I was thinking more on the robotic side, but that didn't happen. So I tried getting into that company. Luckily I got in, and they have a 6 months training on how to become a malware reverse engineer. They would expect us to learn in 6 months how to understand malicious programs, how to analyze it, and really take the distinction of what's a clean program from a malicious program. And that's where it all started. It wasn't an easy path. It was a rigorous training that we had there. I remember we had an exam every week, and we have to pass every week at the end of the week that exam. If we didn't pass, part of our contract when I was started is they'll terminate us, right? We can get out of our jobs. So I really work hard to pass every week on that exam until I finally graduated on that 6 month program that we had, and finally started my career of, hey, I'm finally starting my cyber career of doing malware reverse engineering. So I did that for 3 years, learned from that. We do a lot of analysis. They train us how to write antivirus detections. They train us a lot of viruses. That was still the prevalent threat back in my days. And that's where it all started for me. Eventually, I moved to Microsoft. I joined Microsoft Ireland team of Defender Research and Response. We are the ones who actually started in building the European lab for research and response in Microsoft. That was back way 2007. I moved to Ireland, lived in a new country, and that's where I've started my Microsoft career, and learned a lot about the difference of having more impact because of being in Microsoft. Before, I was like researching on something but don't know how to fix it, right? Like when I joined Microsoft, I understood like, hey, I actually can connect to some of the product groups or some of the products in Microsoft that we're seeing a lot of the threats or vulnerabilities, and provide that feedback directly to them. So that was like my passion way back then, on like this is something that's different from what I had before. And I was in Ireland for 5 years doing a lot of research work and reverse engineering on malicious threats. 2012 is when I moved to Redmond, Washington. And that's where I started my management career. I just got a boost from my manager at the time and said, "Hey, you're really good at organizing and dealing with people and doing a lot of management work, even when you're just an individual contributor, not doing management. Would you want to try it?" And I said, "Why not?" Right? Like I'm sure I would love to have and try that out too. So I tried it and I love it. Right? Like I've started to love managing people and how you can help train. I think what's satisfying for me is really seeing a lot of my team being successful in their careers as well. So that was really the motivation for me. And then that's 2012. In 2019, I felt like I need to look more into other roles in Microsoft to be able to fulfill my need. Like I'm looking for more impact. I want to see more impact in my work. And I found Dart. Dart is Microsoft facing incident response team. They deal with incidents day in, day out. And at that time, I said, this is really impactful work. I can see immediate impact if we're helping the customer. So that was my motivation to move. And luckily, I got the job as well. And now I'm doing this job for almost 3 years now and managing and feel privileged to work with a lot of the experts in the team in this space and working with them every day. And with that, I would like you to introduce to you with one of the experts that we have in my team, Kate Livingston. Kate.
Apologies, getting my audio all set here.
No
Share screen. Wonderful. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us today. I joined both Microsoft and Dart back in 2019, right after I graduated from the University of Southern California. When I was there, I was studying computer science and digital forensics, and then later on became a cybersecurity consultant with Dart, primarily focused on the forensic analysis piece of my education and further career, learning every single day. When I'm not on customer engagements, I get the awesome opportunity to do some tool deployment development on our team, working with our onboarding and training efforts, as well as our internship program. So in high school, it was a newly offered course, AP Computer Science, that everyone was excited to take. So I joined in with everyone taking that course and definitely enjoyed it, but didn't know if it was necessarily where I wanted to go with my career just yet. But got really excited about the prospect of becoming an electrical engineer after some conversations with my mentors in high school. So I joined the engineering school at USC, starting as an electrical engineering student, which quickly changed the moment that I accidentally had signed myself up for one of the introduction classes for the cybersecurity program, and absolutely fell in love with the field of cybersecurity from there. I continued to get more involved in the program, as well as student organizations focused on security and women in engineering while I was at USC. Continued through the cybersecurity program, and working within the USC IT office, as well as a student technology assistant. Basically just trying to get as much experience as I could on campus through on-campus jobs and through my coursework. Ultimately ended up switching my major back to computer science. I did finally come to terms with myself that I do genuinely love computer science, and ended up majoring in it during college. As well as pursuing an internship as a forensic analyst intern at CrowdStrike. Once I had graduated, I wanted to pursue a career in incident response, which I know Elda will be talking further about the mission of our team, but really genuinely see the impact of our work and how much we get to help customers every single day. And the fact that I get to do forensic analysis efforts in order to contribute to that effort is just amazing. So I have really enjoyed doing that over the past 2 years of being on Dart. Okay, back over to you, Elda.
Thank you, Kate. I would like to talk to you more about our mission in the team, and our mission is really to respond to the security incidents that we have been encountering, and it's just been rising over the last few years. We have helped a lot of customers, around hundreds of customers now over the past years, and really helping them deal with the investigation, containment, how to help remediate and come back to normal for them after they've been attacked, right? We also have proactive services in our team to help our customers get more awareness on what needs to get fixed, what needs to get done to be able to be more resilient with this type of cyber threats. And I guess the best way to describe to you what our team does is through a video clip that we will be presenting to you, which is coming out from our customers ourselves that we've helped to describe the work that we do.
Hydro is a global aluminium producer. We are 36,000 employees. We do mining, melting, forming, rolling all over the world. It was very early in the morning and I got a phone call that something seriously was going wrong. We couldn't open files anymore, and instead of opening documents, we would see a ransom note saying that the systems were encrypted. The first stage is to see us as a victim. People started to come to work and be motivated to really deal with the challenge.
Nunavut is a territory of 25 communities. It's very large, very remote.
The government services are in all communities, and we do educational services, health services, financial across the territory. So at about 20 after 8 in the morning, I got a call. We've lost our financial services. We've lost our health services. Medivacs, these are communities are remote. There's no doctors in a lot of them. And in a matter of a few hours, it took out all of our workstations, all of our servers, our phone systems right across the territory in all 25 communities.
It shut down government. We had no phones, we had no computers. Everybody wanted to help. But we started off, I think, with 12 people, and it got to 100 people, and pretty soon we had 120 people in the room.
Hundreds of people that just wanted to help right across the territory.
In an emergency like that, my most impactful memory was the people, the teams.
To make sure that people were motivated, we had to be transparent.
A lot of people took it very personally, and they want to fight this. We didn't have any, I think, impact on delivery to customers due to the cyber attack. And I think the transparency was a big part of that.
Prevention alone will not save you. Value your people. Because when systems are down, whether company survives or succeeds, it's all about the people that are there.
And the only way you're going to get through that is through knowledge sharing, information sharing, being collaborative, and working with one another.
It gave us a really good opportunity to build a new foundation. And there's a lot more things that we're able to do now that would have taken us years to get to. And we did it in 3 weeks. So it's a whole new IT world for us.
We usually say that our production is dependent 80% of people and 20% of machinery. We see similarity in the defense of the cyber attack. The people are the most important thing.
Hydro has been recognized in cyber response. That had a lot to do with how the 36,000 people have stood up for the challenge and be creative and deliver in the most adverse circumstances possible. And then ultimately came out stronger than how we started.
Thank you, Kate. That was like a good summary of like the people that we have helped with directly from the team. So when Kate and I talk about impact and what drives us every day to do our work, it's really the impact because we see the people that we help with daily directly. And I think for both of us, that's a super important part of our careers. that's actually drives us to wake up every day and do this work again. And I've talked about DART's services on incident response, but aside from incident response, we also do proactive services. You don't need to get attacked yet before we can help. We also help out with the same hunters that we use for incident response to do proactive hunting on some of our customers as well. All right, next slide. And through our incident response, we use the Microsoft Security Stack as part of our tool set. Aside from the Microsoft Security Stack, we develop our own tools. And so we have developers, for example, in my team who would do a lot of tooling work for incident responders and help our hunters find the data that they need more automatically. Easily. We also work with the customers directly and get the data sets from them, right? Like even if it's not a Microsoft product that they're using, there are data sets that we can use to be able to investigate end to end and across their network to be able to find out and investigate what's the problem, what happened. And of course, we are backed also by Microsoft Global Telemetry. There's a lot, it's not just our team that's facing that's helping the customer. We are actually backed up with a lot of security experts in Microsoft, such as threat intelligence groups, such as Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center, a lot of from the product groups, from Defender, from Sentinel product groups that been helping us deal with the incidents that the customers are facing. So it's not just in Microsoft cybersecurity space, it's not just DART. There are multiple teams in Microsoft who's probably doing similar roles, and I'll discuss more about DART roles later and the roles that's available also out there. And when you look into that video, right, like as you've seen, there's really just a huge demand right now on this skill set. The cyber skill set is really scarce, and it's something that we really want to move forward and find more people and train more people with. Next slide, please. And as I said, right, like with Microsoft being incident response team, we were able to directly provide feedback, for example, on things or gaps that we have found in the customer back to our product groups. You might not be a customer of the Microsoft security products, but in one way or another, most likely you'll be a customer of one of the Microsoft products or services, whether it's you're using Windows or you're using Office 365 or you're using Azure or you have a Surface laptop or an Xbox, right? Like I think that's the difference is that because of the wide scope of Microsoft, is we connect directly with a lot of those product groups to bring back the learnings and the techniques that we're seeing that attackers are using currently in the field and bring back to them so they can fix those quickly. And as I said, I think the importance is having a lot of backed people in the end of incident responders who's customer facing, and those are the people that's actually helping us, and we collaborate well with them and helping us track better and defeat this malicious actors who's putting havoc in a lot of our customers right now. Next slide, please. All right, more about what are the team disciplines that we have. So what are the roles that we actually have in DART? So particularly for this team, we have, for example, our team leads or lead investigators. So for these are the people who will be taking care of like the communications directly with the customer. They'll be the one dealing and ensuring that the team is working well, that the team is having all that they need to be able to hunt properly and do all the crisis comms as well during an active incident with the customer. So then that's the leader of that particular team who's assigned to that customer. And then we have also our platforms experts. So these are like Azure AD or Azure experts. They deal with both the deployment and then containment as well, right? If there's an active attack, these are the people who say, here's what the steps that we need to do to contain this so that our hunters can continually investigate while they're doing that. And of course, we have our core forensics people. So these are our forensic threat hunters, people who will go and deep down in all to the data, like Kate can tell you more about her work and really drill down into the data to investigate and find out what happened. On the that's both like on-prem, and then we also have our cloud side, right? Like we have also cloud experts and cloud hunters in the team to be able to look if it's a cloud type of investigation that we need to do. We also have reverse engineers. These are like my background, similar to me. We'll take apart files. If our hunters found something suspicious, these are the people who will drill down and find C2s, other beacons, other persistence that based from their analysis of the suspicious files that we see in the investigation. So it's end to end. We can take a look at everything. At the back end, we have our program managers or incident managers who takes care of our business, scoping calls with the clients, ensuring resources are present, contracting, and all of that. And then we also have developers. As I said, we have our own developers who are taking care of all the incident response tool set, aside from the products that we're using. Very critical role as well in the team to be able to assist and ensure that our hunters have the easier job in finding a needle in a haystack when it comes to these investigations. All right, next slide, please. And our background, the team is actually composed of diverse background. We have people joining the team coming from military, from the public sector. We have people joining the team from other companies. They have different backgrounds as well. Some are coming from SOC from other companies. Some have been doing incident response from other companies as well. And then we have a lot of different people coming from different teams in Microsoft, right? They're coming in from a product group or from a field type of role, and then eventually transition to Dart, or maybe coming in even from engineering, from CSS, and all of the other groups that we have. And combining all those expertise together, I think, is what makes this team really, really good. And having that teamwork and collaboration as key to our success is really critical. So having that diverse background, people coming from different background is important in this team. Next slide, please. And what are the trends that we are seeing right now, right? Like in cyber, we see a lot of different trends, and we actually track that. I would highly suggest you visit AKMS MDDR, or Microsoft Digital Defense Report. Microsoft publishes this yearly to get more insight. What if I'm new to cyber? What should I learn? What should I know, right? Like, what are the things that's happening right now in the threat world, in the threat landscape, for me to understand and start to learn or get more interested in, right? So I think really good place to start looking. Oh, here's what's happening right now. So for example, that data graph that I have here in the slide is coming from last year's engagements from Dart on how many ransomware cases we have dealt with. And as you see, right, like it's across all industries. If you've heard from the news, you've probably seen it from the news already, like human operated ransomware is everywhere right now. It's like one of the major issues or type of attacks that we are dealing with, and specifically with Dart, and it's just across the board. It's affecting a lot. We also publish like blogs. You can go to our blog site later, which I will post to, and there is a slide deck for that, to get to know more and understand more of this type of threat. Next slide, please. And aside from the ransomware, a lot of the cases that we are dealing with right now are more on the advanced persistence threats or nation state attacks. And those are the things that we are looking into more and investigating into more, and providing guidance back to our customers as well, right? Like based on this investigation that we did for this particular client, here are the things and the guidance that we think we would be important for you to understand and to share also, or really apply into your current work, based on these tactics that we have seen that the attackers or advanced persistent threats have been using. Again, more of this learnings and data and recommendations are actually on our blog. So next slide, please. Which is here, right? Like this is the shortcut, AKMS Dart blog. I would highly encourage everyone to read more on the blogs that is put here and the links that we've been sharing. If you are interested in this space, if you're interested in joining at cyber, or just looking around, is this something that you might want to be your next career? Or if you're coming from universities, is this a career that you would want? So I would encourage everyone to take a look at that. And I put a link here also for our job openings, specifically for DART, AKMS DART jobs that would link you directly to openings for DART. I don't think we have opening right now, but I just came in from a meeting before this about future openings coming in next year. So please do watch out, and you can still go use that site and search for other key terms in Microsoft's career site, right? Like you can search for key terms on threat hunting, reverse engineering, whatever would be your passion. It doesn't need to be necessarily Dart team, because Microsoft have different teams as well that would need those core skills, right? Like, or if you're needing something or wanted to start, I know there are openings also right now that is specifically for entry in career, early in career, entry level. They're willing to train. So please take a look at the career site, search for what interests you, and search for what might be, your next career. And that, hopefully that could be DART. Moving now to you, Kate.
Wonderful. Thanks, Elda. So my next section will be diving more into entry-level job advice, in particular with roles in cybersecurity and my experience with doing so on an incident response team during my first couple of years of work. So I get a lot of questions from university students and mentees regarding life after graduation and if it was what I expected it to be. And the short answer is sort of, but I'll be kind of drawing out what I mean by this sort of answer over this next section. My expectations of working full-time in a cybersecurity-focused role incorporate items both regarding the workday itself and time outside of work. I anticipated more time during the weekday evenings and on weekends, and not having to focus on work once the workday was done. I thought I'd have more time to build out more of a long-term plan for myself and for my career, all while getting to feel settled with a day-to-day job, home, and life. I know this seems like big expectations, and I very quickly realized that they are. I was very excited about post-graduation life and the sense of balance and stability that it would provide me. I quickly got to learn that you do need to maintain a sense of balance between work and personal life as best you can, but feeling unsettled in your career means you're motivated and are being challenged, motivating you to continue learning. If you're enjoying the challenge and learning every single day like I am, you're probably in the right place for building your career even further. So in reality, you will have more time during the weekdays and the weekends, but it's all part of that balance that you need to maintain when work is asking for more of your attention, for when it's busy for you and the rest of your team, as it does get to be on an incident response team, but in a very challenging and exciting way. You may not be able to create long-term plans as life changes so often, but you will get to work with your mentors to create those long-term goals for yourself as you continue to learn what you enjoy with your job and how you'd like to grow as an industry professional. I came into incident response with a lot of nerves, to be very honest. I knew that this was the experience that I wanted to have as part of the entry-level part of my career, but didn't know what to expect for the most part. My expectations of working on an IR team incorporated being in a really intense work environment. When working with stressful customer engagements, I anticipated the work environment to be just as intense and stressful. On top of this, I thought I'd have everything that I would need in order to get the job done on every single engagement, and it would be up to me to generate the complete picture of the attacker narrative for the customer. For this answer, I was almost entirely wrong when it came to my expectations. It is very much a collaborative team effort to help the customers and your teammates every single day. I cannot tell you the number of questions I ask in a day, and my teammates are amazing to either they have the answer or know someone who can get me the answer, and they'll pretty much drop whatever they're doing in order to help you out. It's basically being on a team of all of your mentors for the most part, and it's definitely very rewarding and motivating to continue learning from them. It can be stressful at times. as is the nature of incident response and helping customers in these stressful situations, but your teammates are ultimately there for you and for each other. Every engagement is going to be different, so it's important to continue to maintain that mindset of going into a new experience every single time, because the ability to be able to adapt and learn is how you and your teammates are going to learn through these experiences and better help customers all along the way. In terms of my experience in college and how that translated into the real world, so to speak, or into my industry entry-level experience thus far, definitely got foundational knowledge from my coursework in both computer science and my forensic analysis courses, and got to get some exposure with my IT student assistant position as well. So definitely encouraging not only pursuing what you're hoping to learn in the classroom, but if there's any on-campus jobs or opportunities there, if you have the opportunity to take those, definitely was a worthwhile experience and gained a lot of knowledge and mentors through that experience as well. Got the opportunity with student organizations on campus. I was involved in one for women in engineering, as well as cybersecurity. And not only was I getting to continue my learning outside of the classroom in those areas, but also got the opportunity to do some leadership within those organizations and kind of help guide those organizations in certain directions, depending on what we were trying to improve upon for everyone involved in those organizations as a whole. Been able to take some of those learnings from that leadership experience into my day-to-day work as well, both with customers and with my teammates. Last but not least is networking, whether that's through networking events on campus with different companies that are coming to visit, or with your classmates. I continue to network with everyone that I've gotten in touch with through those on-campus networking events and my classmates, seeing what they're up to, all the exciting things that are happening in the industry, the exciting things that they're getting to work on, and learning from each other. So not just learning from people on my team or with DART's partner teams at Microsoft, but industry-wide altogether. So some general job advice before I pass it back to Elda for her to provide some advice as well, is it can definitely be scary going into incident response or these cybersecurity roles right out of university, or if you're planning on making a career change into cybersecurity. But your perspective as a new hire was acknowledged and valued on the team when I joined, and continues to be with additional new hires that are joining the team as well. It can definitely benefit the team to see what additional improvements that we need to make that we may not have prioritized because we've been so focused on other aspects of the team we've been excited to improve upon, and that perspective is so valuable. Same goes for getting into different projects. So as I had mentioned, we have our customer-facing work, but there are definitely projects that we work on in order to help our team and partner teams at Microsoft and to ultimately help our customers. And by getting involved in those projects, not only do you continue to expand your learnings in other areas, but you're continuing to network and learn from your peers as well. Last but not least, all ties back to networking once again. Don't be afraid to reach out to those who are in more senior level positions or in leadership to get their perspective. It's always interesting to get learnings from people who are not in your immediate role, but definitely have impact in terms of where your team is going and what they're focusing on, so you can align goals and learn from each other. Okay, I'll pass it over to you, Elda, for additional advice.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, so I think when we talk about like lessons learned, right? Like I look into not just entry level. Sorry, there's like an alarm. I'll be right back. Kate, can you go to the next slide? I'll just check this.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Wonderful. So as Elda had mentioned, we have the DART jobs link, aka.ms/dartjobs, but we also have a university internship. Unfortunately, by the time this webinar is being hosted, we have already conducted the interviews for the DART Summer 2022 internship. but definitely will continue to use the aka.ms/Dart intern app for future summer internships as well, if you're interested in potentially pursuing an internship with the Dart team. The internship consists of a whole bunch of different things, primarily focusing on shadowing our customer engagements, those individual side projects that I was talking about, as well as networking with our amazing partner